Shalom. That's the Jews' greeting. I learned that from Ms. Rosenstein, the current rabbi at Temple Bethel. Shabbat Shalom. It means peace, hello, and goodbye. At Temple Bethel, their mission is to repair the world for everyone. This correlates with my theme for the semester, equivalency. She's not trying to repair the world for her own culture. Along with that, she was very hospitable. She was open to me whether I was a student, a person off the street, despite my color of skin. Nothing had to do with it. She was willing to give and share information with us. Everyone's welcome to Temple Bethel. She just asks that you be respectful and follow normal rules and regulations. When they stand, you stand. When they sit, you sit. That also goes with my equivalency. The Torah is what they use for study. It's their Bible in a Christian sense. They use the first 5 books of the First Testament, which is also used in Christianity. So that was a similarity that I learned while I was there with Ms. Rosenstein that I wasn't even aware of. In the Torah, there's 613 commandments. Ms. Rosenstein made a joke about there being so many commandments, but she told us just to remember those 3 things that they believe in at Temple Bethel, which is do justly, love mercy, walk humbly. If you can remember those 3 things when intertwining with different cultures, we all will be able to intertwine and interact as one. My visit, it showed me that it's all about the betterment of people. It wasn't a run things, it was more about just the relationship that you have with yourself. So, in the words of Ms. Rosenstein, Shabbat Shalom. Do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly.
One thing that I thought was particularly thought-provoking and memorable of our visit was when the rabbi started talking to us about the dietary restrictions. Leviticus chapter 10 states that they don't eat birds of prey, they don't eat shellfish, they don't eat creepy crawlers. For instance, fish have to have fins and scales. For them to eat mammals, their windpipe jugular has to be cut in 1 strike for less suffrage. For instance, also when they eat meat, they don't eat dairy, and vice versa. They have a saying that states, don't boil the meat in the milk of your mother, because they don't like to contradict each other. But that was probably a more memorable moment for me just because I like meat. And I don't know, I can't see myself having too many rules on what and what I cannot eat. The concept that I was given this semester was long-term refugees. A refugee is a person who is outside his or her country of origin or habitual residence because they have suffered or been persecuted on account of race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or because they are a member of a persecuted social group, or because they are fleeing war. Jewish populations have been expelled and ostracized by various local authorities and have sought asylum and anti-Semitism numerous times. The rabbi did explain to me that there are still refugees today, but ever since the establishment in 1948 of the state of Israel adopted the 1950 Law of Return, making Israel a home not only for the inhabitants of the state, but also for all the members of Jewish people everywhere. This law intended to encourage Jewish immigration to Israel. We didn't really get into the long-term refugees concept with the rabbi, but she did explain that the Jewish religion was dispersed throughout all of Egypt, and along with the rise and fall of the first and second temple, they were scattered all over the country to live in diaspora, which is a minority that they lived in, except for Israel, because Israel was the only state that ever allowed them to flourish into their own. But because of so much hatred, they kind of were persecuted all throughout history, and their population resulted in fluctuated numbers and distributed all over the centuries. If I had a chance to redo the whole experience, one thing I would do differently was probably go during a time of a sermon and then speak to the rabbi after. I feel like we'd probably get more information out of the rabbi. I feel like we had to dig deep in order to ask specific questions, and I feel like if we would have gone to his service, we would have got more information instead of researching a lot of it. A moment that best sums up the experience for me was getting to talk one-on-one with the rabbi. She was very friendly, she was very open about everything that we were asking her. Personally, I don't have a religion, so it made it kind of interesting for me. I don't think that I would actually choose Jewish, but it would probably be on the top of my list if I had to make a decision on what religion I would be. It just seems fun to me.
I think the most memorable experience for me was realizing how much I'd separated the Jewish and the American culture in my mind. I have friends who are Jewish, but because I have never seen them interacting in their culture, I forget they're Jewish. I think that I have two worlds in my head, like the Jewish culture and the American culture. And most of the Jewish culture has come from fiction that I've come by over the years. But I think the cool thing about Temple Bethel is that those images have finally harmonized. I can see the traditional sense as well as the modern sense. The concept that I was given this semester was high and low context culture. In other words, do they spell it out for you, or are you expected to know what they're trying to say just from their tone or the way they're looking at you or where they are? The rabbi explained to me that much of the high context communication comes through the traditional prayers. I'm a Christian and I know that when I pray, I am not as eloquent as the Jews because I say whatever is on my mind, and as you can see, I get tongue-tied very easily. But the Jews are very reverent in their prayers, and I can't imagine what it would be like to have to memorize a lot of prayers and not only say them correctly, but not stumble every 5 seconds when you do. If I had the chance to go back, I wouldn't be as scared, but the moment that summed it up the most for me was learning that the Savior hasn't come yet, and I'm not strong enough to follow God without the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Thank you.